Hey, what's going on, baby? Absolutely show. We're back. Thank you for coming back. I assume you're coming back. I could just be talking to the ether, but it doesn't matter. We're still rocking it back, and I'm happy to be here. Yeah, if you can't tell from the little sniffles, your boy's been sick. That's what we're talking about right up top. It is that time. 'Tis the season to be merry and bright. It is also the season to not be able to breathe through your nose and have a headache the entire day, and that's okay. But yeah, dude, I got hit. I got hit with it pretty bad. But thankfully, not thankfully, it was sad. It made me sad. But my lady, my fiance, was way sicker than I was. So just by proxy, I didn't feel as sick, I couldn't feel as sick because normally she is the one taking care of me, and I mean, she's a nurse. She is tough. She never gets sick, and she was absolutely wiped out. So I wasn't able to be sick cuz god, dude, as a man, and I think I speak for most men, I really enjoy being sick. It's nice to just kind of curl up and feel bad for yourself and whimper and get taken care of. But I'll say maybe that's what growing up is that I would much rather take care of somebody than be taken care of, even though it is nice. But when your lady's sick, man, it is just such a flip of roles, uh, as far as who is the pamperer, who is the aid giver or whatever. And in some kind of twisted way, it's kind of nice to have like this weaker version of my of my wife who is normally pretty intense pretty intense lady. So it was nice being able to take care of her. She even through the thick of it, she was, we managed to have fun, to laugh. She woke up at like 5 a.m. one morning this week and was dying. I mean, headache, felt like there was a fist fight going on in her head, couldn't breathe through her nose. She was really going through it and just, yeah, one of those. And I'm like holding her. I'm like, oh, it's going to be okay. And even in the midst of that, she just looked up at me and she just goes, kill me. Please kill me. So then we laughed, and then it, just like any bad experience in life, it's you gotta kind of spin it so that it's good. Because, dude, how sweet is it to not be sick after you are sick? I mean, I'm still like I'm 80% back. I've still got a little bit of I'm like getting everything out of me, but I mean, I feel fine. My energy's there. My headache is fine. But God, just that euphoria of not being sick after you're sick. We went out yesterday. My girl was down for like 72 hours, and we went out yesterday to knock out some Christmas shopping, and it was like we were tripping. Like when you're just in the house for 72 hours in a row, and you're just literally in a fever dream, just chugging NyQuil, going to sleep, waking up, sweaty, changing the sheets. When you go out into the world, you feel like an alien. It's kind of trippy and you're slap happy, and it was a good time, man. It was fun. And I better get fucking used to it. We pulled the goalie, so if she wants to have a baby, then all I've heard is that there's plenty of taking care of somebody during that. You know, when she gets pregnant, that'll be crazy. And that's what's wild about a lady is that she's completely allowed to be. Your hormones change. You're completely different. There's something growing inside your body. I don't see how any of them do it, but I'm ready for that. I love kids. I want to be a daddy. I mostly want to be a dad so I can say the sentence "I love kids" and not have people be weirded out by it. You know, like I do love kids, but a 34-year-old with no kids. I don't know. I think that the world is a more beautiful place through the eyes of children, but I can't just like go and like softly smile at a playground watching a bunch of kids play. If I go to a little league game by myself, I better have a damn clipboard. I'm freaking people out. So yeah, that's kind of, I don't know. I do. Kids rule. They're funny and they haven't done anything bad yet, and they're nice. And even as I'm saying it, I feel weird saying that I love kids. But man, they do. They rock. Some people love them too much. But that's not me. I don't know. We definitely had the vid. We definitely got it. We got COVID version 2024 right at the nick of time. Almost 25. That's crazy. That was like 5 years ago, but whatever. Uh, it reminded me when we were all COVIDed out or whatever. It reminded me. Speaking of kids and COVID, here we go. We can tie this together. Um, I was thinking about you know, the I love kids thing or whatever. Um, because of COVID, I did have a moment where, you put yourself in one of those situations and you look up halfway through and you're like, what am I doing? I know what my intentions are, but then you start realizing how everybody else in the world is perceiving you. So I was living in Newport, Kentucky, across the river from Cincinnati during COVID Halloween, and I went out and I bought all this candy. And my house was situated in a place where no one was coming by. It was a very bad house. Wasn't a nice house, but no one was coming by. It wasn't a nice neighborhood, but I took it upon myself to just take a big old pillowcase of candy and just walk around the neighborhood. And I was just approaching kids, literally saying, "Hey, do you want some candy?" And it was a bad look. I got stiff armed by a couple moms, and I guess it's a good thing, but it's a shame, man. This mustache does no favors. The mustache does no favors at all. We've got to do something to change the narrative behind the mustache, man. You know, it's like, I get it, dude. Every PEDO or whatever has a little thin mustache and might even wear like an eccentric pair of yellow glasses, but that ain't me, dude. That ain't me, man. Move right along. It's not right. Ah, dude. Let me throw one of these things in. I tell you what, I know it's kind of annoying that I keep do that, but man, I'm a Nick fiend, baby. And at least I'm not vaping. Dude, oh, I was a vapor. I was a vapist. It was bad, man. Oh my God, did I vape? And I don't know. I did start smoking cigs. Like, I didn't just pick up the vape like some of these kids these days or whatever. But if I can just stick to the little pouches, maybe eventually kind of wean myself off of those, I'm good. But nicotine rules, dude. I've been on a journey with nicotine for my whole life, dude. I threw in my first dip, young boy, summer before 8th grade. I think I talked about this with you, Aiden. Summer before 8th grade, me and my boy Ryan Wagner, shouts Ryan Wagner, went out into the woods with a backpack of goods. Summer before 8th grade, we were about to be men. So we went out to the woods to become men. And we brought a room temperature bottle of Corona. We brought ourselves out a Corona, no lime. We brought ourselves out about a third of a water bottle of Montezuma Gold Tequila, no lime, another room temperature as well. We brought a Black and Mild, which I really did. I probably smoked a Black and Mild every weekend for the entire high school experience. We brought 2 Marlboro menthol cigarettes, shout out to my mom's purse, and we brought a can of Skull Green Apple. So we had everything. The world was ours. We had a couple fishing poles. We were cruising, man. We were ready to go out into the woods and, like I said, become men. And that's really where my journey with nicotine started. We started off with the Marlboro menthol. That was crisp. Loved a Marlboro menthol in the woods for your first one. It might as well have been PCP. We were spinning. So we split the cigarette. We're laughing. We're chumming it up. It's great. Then we split the Corona. Half a beer each to 2 young men. It is quite potent. And then we threw in a dip. Okay, so we throw in the dip. We're like, God, it's so cool that we're such men, And we're sitting on the side of the creek. We throw this dip in, and the cigarette was one thing. The beer was another thing. Sure, a little addled, but dude, then I threw in that Skull Green Apple, and that took us to a different realm A full different realm, man. I remember looking up at the trees, like the canopy or whatever, just full kaleidoscope spinning, full spinning, looking over at Ryan. He's looking at me. We're both trying to be cool because we're men. And I was so spun out on the nicotine from the dip that I went to cast my fishing pole. And instead of casting my fishing line, I just went like this and just fully threw the fishing pole into the creek. Disappeared forever. We laughed our asses off, then took a couple shots of tequila, threw up. And yeah, I mean, we were out there for hours. We went in boys, we came out men. And it's true. And I have just nicotine's been my jam forever. We used to do ridiculous things, man. Boys just used to smoke things. Anything that could be set on fire could technically be smoked if you're like a 12-year-old boy. Me and my brother used to smoke mulch. We used to smoke grass. Like, literally, I have a memory of us stealing a lighter from the kitchen, going into the backyard, getting a piece of mulch, setting it on fire until smoke came up, and then the other one who didn't have the lighter would just inhale the mulch smoke. God, dude, I've got to be in some sort of like, whatever, class action lawsuit. But I guess if you smoke Roundup that's on mulch, that's on you, you know? But nah, man, that was just I used to go out into the woods and with a Black and Mild and then take like gravity bong rips of just the tobacco. That's probably my most hillbilly story. Fill it up with creek water. Take a bottle of water, burn the little hole, fill the top with tinfoil, literally poke it with like a twig. Like I'm out here I'm like catching a nicotine buzz in the woods by myself, like Frodo Baggins. And then fill it with creek water, fill it with the top with Black and Mild tobacco, and then boom, off to the races, man. So, bad look. Tough look. But I've been chasing the dragon of nicotine ever since, man. I did. I just really, it's got its nails in me. And apparently it's pretty good. Like, it's not necessarily bad for you. It's just every vehicle possible to get it into your system is bad. So I don't want to, like, take nicotine pills or whatever, but I do like the teen, baby. It's a little stimulant. It gets the creative juices going, man. It kind of, I don't know. I dig it. Maybe I'm just addicted and rationalizing. That's kind of what anybody ever does, right? But I don't know. I just need it. I don't need it, but I want it, especially now, man. I don't know. Not a crazy hot take, but dude, I'm like cooked. The last 5 years of everything that's been happening, I'm cooked, dude. I don't know what to believe anymore. And it's like the alien drone, AI, Diddy, assassin, war vibe or whatever that's kind of going on. And we're just fully desensitized to it. I don't know, the CEO thing that happened, Luigi Mangione, I can't even really process it. I mean, I understand, sure, it's kind of good. Sure, it's murder and it's terrible. But then also it's like I'm so desensitized to it that all I can think about is that his name's too Italian. Luigi, in the year 2024, this giant nude story happens and it's just going to be a guy named Luigi with an 8-pack and oblique muscles. Luigi Mangione. Is his middle name just... That's his name. Luigi Mangione. It's a cartoon character for an Italian man, Luigi Mangione. It would be like if a Southern guy did that. The news story was just like, an Alabama man killed the CEO of Waffle House. His name? Jimmy Beltbuckle. It's so crazy. It's just too on the nose, man. And then the whole alien thing that's happening, man, I don't know. I guess I'm just checking out. I'm kind of just backing out all of it. And I talked about this on the Boy Storm pod a little bit, but it's like you can't get into every little story. You just got to step back, zoom all the way into your life, take care of that. Take care of your lady, your family. That's all you can do. Take care of your health. That's good. I was watching, dude, I don't know. I was watching some of these like court proceedings that are happening about the UFOs, and it's too much. It's too much. They asked the guy, he's like the congressional seat. I can't remember his name. What, James Fox or something? He's not in he's just a researcher. He's been doing it forever. He's the foremost mind on this stuff. And he's taking all these questions, and this guy goes, yeah, I heard that like maybe the aliens that we're seeing right now are like humans from the past who went underground and like escaped an apocalypse, and then the last 12,000 years they've just been making all of their technology better, and now they're emerging. Do you know anything about that? And I was just wanting the guy to say, dude, what are you talking about? No. But the foremost expert in the world on these things looks at him when he said that and goes, we're open to every possibility. And it's like, what? What? Time traveling humans? Whatever, man. I'm good. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I'm past it. I just want to take care of my fellow man. That's it. I don't know. I've been trying to like interact a little bit more with the homeless community, because that's just something that kind of like rocks me, you know. You would like to think that people, with everything that we have, that we shouldn't have people living on the streets. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I can like solve that or whatever, but I don't know. I had a bad interaction with one recently. It was kind of sad. I was talking to this guy, and he was talking to himself. And then I kind of got in his way, because people deserve to be treated with decency. I think that most people agree with that. You can't give money to a homeless person every single time you see him, obviously. But, you know, maybe you got a little orange or a banana or a bottle of water, whatever it is. But it's a tricky thing, because it's like, sure, treat everyone with kindness. I think mostly homeless people just want to be seen. Can you imagine like being invisible? That would drive you crazy. You're already probably a little crazy because you're out there. And then your craziness is affirmed because a 1,000 people walk by you a day and don't even look at you. So you're like, am I even here? That's why they start like, you know, masturbating in public or whatever, because they are a little nuts, and they probably think people can't see them because they just get so ignored. But then that's a catch-22, because you want to walk by them and like make some eye contact and be like, hey. But then it's weird too, because what are you going to say? Hey, guy living in a bush, how are you? Hey, man, how's it going? Bad? Good. I don't know. But it was tough, because I went and I talked to this guy, and he was like teetering on the edge of whatever I'm talking about, crazy or not. And I'm talking to him, and not for long, but just like, hey, man, nice day, huh? I'm glad it's not a super cold or rainy or whatever it is. And he's like, yeah. I give him a $10 bill, and then he runs across Broadway and just screams at a young group of women, like scared them. And it's messed up, because it looked like I paid him to do it. It looked like I gave him a $10 bill and was like, go over there, Stinky, scare him, you know? And that was a tough spot to be. Yeah, I don't really know what to do with that, man. I was thinking about this. Maybe this is a thought that I should keep in my head, but like, I think the homeless population, I think that's like the only group of people that you can say the sentence, we should round them up and put them all in camps and have it not be like a war crime. You know, I'm not saying round them up like violently or whatever, but we could like go up to them and be like, hey man, we got a camp for you. At least camps have like food and a bed, you know? And I know you're thinking, Lee, they're already camping. Okay. Now it gets weird too, because it's like, yeah, dude, people should have the right to be free and live how they want to live, but also maybe don't camp in my like backyard or whatever. And I know it's not much of it. It hasn't touched my life yet, but I know it has touched some people. I've just always kind of been drawn to that community. As a kid, they're kind of cool. As a kid, you're just like, dang, man, that guy doesn't give a shit. He is not worried about like disappointing anyone in his life. He's already flown that ship. He's good to go. One of the most prolific homeless people of all time is a guy named Henry Earl, and he's from my hometown of Lexington, Kentucky. He's America's most arrested man. He died early in 2024. Shout out Henry Earl. But he was the most arrested man in America. I think it was something like 1,700 arrests. He was just this homeless dude in Lexington, and he figured out that, better to be in the drunk tank than out on the streets, 3 hots and a cot, whatever they say. So he would just, like, for years and years and years, he would just walk up to a cop. It'd be like, give me your gun. And they'd be like, oh, Henry, no. Arrest him, send him to jail. He was a sweet man. He was a beloved member of the community, a drain on taxpayer money, sure. But good guy, maybe. I don't know. Not a bad guy. Never did anything like violent or nothing like that. But I had an evening with him. I had an evening with Henry Earl. I got thrown in the drunk tank myself, like a young fool. It's at a UK-Georgia football game in Lexington, and a little short cop wouldn't let me cross the street. And, it was 11 o'clock in the morning, so I'd already been drinking for like 4 hours. So I took great exception to that, and led the charge. It was so funny. It was a classic. I had like 100 people behind me. He wouldn't let us cross this street. I'm talking to all the people. I'm like, come on, man. We all walk out there. What's he going to do? Stop us all? And everyone's like, yeah, for sure. So then I walk out there, and I see this cop start running at me. And I turn around to see, like, the army of people that were also rallying behind me. And I was the only one in the street. So I got grabbed and really Napoleon complex, slammed against the hood of the cop car, handcuffed my ankles and my hands, put me in the back of a paddy wagon in front of so many people in Lexington. My mom was getting Facebook messages for like 4 months after that. Like, hey, I'm pretty sure I saw Lee get like kind of violently arrested at Alumni Drive and Nicholsville Road. And it did. It happened. It's very unfortunate. But I did end up spending the night in jail with Henry Earl. And I got to talk to him. And he's completely insane, but nice, And I traded him a bologna sandwich for an orange. It's kind of my claim to fame with Lexington lore, is that I got an orange from Henry Earl, man. Shout out Henry Earl. I was in Cincinnati a couple years ago, and I was coming home from the gym. And I was in the sauna after a workout, and kind of what I like to do is get a little HIGE and go in the sauna after a workout, right? So I did that, and I leave, and I'm a little bit stoned, and my face is all red because I'm coming from the sauna, and I'm looking for a parking spot in downtown Cincinnati. And this woman, this pregnant woman, she was pregnant. She flags me down. She's like, help. I'm sitting there, I'm a little stoned. I'm like, God, what is this about? So I roll down my window, and she goes, he's not awake. He's not. And she points to this guy, and he's just out on the ground, slumped on his stomach, out on the ground. So she's like, help me. So I go, okay, sure, I'll help you. And I park my car, and I run over, and she's got 911 on speakerphone, right? She's got 911 on speakerphone, and the guy's like, okay, so this guy is overdosed. Certainly, here's what we got to do. And she's looking at me, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm the guy who's gonna do this. Okay, let's rip it. So the guy's like, all right, get him on his back. So I get him on his back. I support his neck, all that stuff. I'm like, okay, he's on his back. His neck's okay. What next? And they're like, all right, now you got to clear his airways. So I'm like, how? And they're like, with your hand. So I'm like, okay, sounds good. And I reach into this guy's mouth, and I pop the tongue out, and he kind of goes, I'm like, all right, cool, that's good. And don't worry, his mouth was really, really clean. I was not worried about getting hepatitis A through an act of goodwill. And so I'm sitting there loving on him, petting him on his face a little bit. I hear the ambulance, the fire truck, they're coming, petting him on his face, like, hitting on his chest a little bit. I'm like, buddy, it's going to be okay. Just hold on. You're going to be okay. And then about 20 seconds before the ambulance and the fire truck pull up, this guy goes from dead to and he Jackie Chans himself up off of the ground like in one movement and sprints off into the neighborhood. And then the pregnant woman who got me to stop sprints off after him because I think that was her baby daddy. So then I'm just standing there by myself, violently high at this point with a really, really red face from the sauna and the fear of what the situation was. And then the fire truck pulls up. And a bunch of firemen come out, and I'm just the one standing there, and they go, sir, I heard someone overdose from drugs. And I was like, well, yeah, but he ran away, and she goes, did you make the call? And I go, no, the pregnant woman made the call. And I go, and she ran away too. I wasn't going to chase them because they were both way too fast for who they were. So I wasn't going to come in third place in that wreck, that's in that race. That would be embarrassing. So long story short, I had to sit there for about 5 minutes and convince the fire department and the EMTs that I wasn't the guy overdosing on drugs. I was just actually really, he was like, are you high? I was like, I am a little bit, but like not that kind. Thought I was about to catch some Narcan for eating an edible. But that was a tough one, man. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do about it, but I don't know. Try to lead with a little bit of compassion, man. Just try to lead with a little bit of compassion. I think that's decent. I think that's a decent thing to take away from any situation. Yeah. Been freaking out. I think a lot of people can relate to this. I've been freaking out about how addicted I am to my phone. I look at it so much, man. My screen time's crazy. Maybe in a couple years I'll tell you what my current screen time is, but it is like embarrassing. Doesn't even make sense. Like, and then the Apple will give you the screen time app, and they'll let you know. And that's like in the movies where the drug dealer grows a conscience. The heroin dealer's like, hey man, listen, you're my number one customer, but dude, you gotta chill out. It's crazy how much I look at it. And then it's so crazy how it's integrated into our life so much, dude. Like, if I tried to, everyone's talking about like self-care. If I self-cared myself and put the phone down, got a flip phone, I would be a pilgrim now. I wouldn't be able to interact in my career or with my friends or anything like that. Like, if I deleted all my social media and got a flip phone, everyone in my life would think that I was about to kill myself. I don't know what we're supposed to do about it. I don't think that our brains are evolutionarily ready for that, man. I shouldn't be able to be reached by every single person in my life or it not in my life on 4 different platforms 24/7. It's weird, man. I don't, obviously brains evolve and stuff, but it's too much. In the last 20 years, we've just been able to basically be telepathic. I used to talk to my brother when he was in India on the phone. It doesn't make sense. I like the Dunbar principle or whatever. And of course, science and all this stuff evolves, but the Dunbar principle that the human brain, most people, the human brain has enough hard drive and space for 150 acquaintances in their life, because that's the average size of a small tribe or a village or something back in the day. So, but now it's everyone. It's literally everyone, and it's bizarre. Yeah, I don't know. If you take a day and try to, not look at your phone, and then at the end of that day, you look at your phone and you've got 12 text messages and 50 emails and a couple DMs. It's then in your quest to try to better yourself and calm your mind a little bit, now everyone in your life thinks you're an asshole. And that sucks. I don't know what to do about it. But I don't know. It'll be okay. We'll just keep evolving with the phones. I do think that the next move is that it goes backwards. Who knows? They're talking about these quantum computers, and once we build all of the quantum computers and then the AI can learn with the quantum computers, then it's then what are we even doing? I read some article about they're building this quantum computer to pair with the AI, and the energy that they need to power this quantum computer is so much that they need to build 3 nuclear plants. They need to build 3. What are we doing? No. Why? What are we making? I don't know. I'm not trying to sound crazy or anything, but maybe AI is the devil or something. What comes of it? what does it look like in 10 years? I don't even know. And maybe it's okay to just be dumb, but like, maybe it's not. I'm scared. Like, I remember it wasn't that long ago, man. Like 10 years ago, my grandfather was still alive and still viable. And I remember talking to him. He's one of the smartest men I've ever met, dude. He was a ear, nose, and throat surgeon. He put in like tubes in people's ears and, took out tonsils and stuff like that. He's a smart guy, And at the end of his life, he didn't know how anything worked. Nothing. He literally a surgeon who thought that fax machines, like, he thought that little, like, imagine putting a piece of paper through a paper shredder. Okay, you can imagine what a piece of paper through a paper shredder looks like. Then he thought that all of those little, like, paper worms just kind of, like, went through the air. And then he thought that. And I used to be like, God, how can you be so far behind technologically? It's like, learn how to work your damn clicker, because for him, it was like kind of this gradual, slow build. I was like, man, you've had time to learn this. But now it's so fast. It's such a fast rate that now I'm just my grandpa at 34 and it's only getting faster. And I'm like, what? Am I supposed to like learn how to do this or this now? Because in 2 months, it'll be like obsolete. So I don't know, man. Maybe that's what this podcast ends up being, man. Maybe it just turns into a cult, then we all go live out in the woods. Maybe the Absolute Lee Show just turns into all of us just moving out into the woods. And if that's the case, then, I can get down with that too, man. But, hey, we banged out another half hour. Thank you for being here. Going to start putting some stuff in the works to get some other content out there for you guys. Perhaps behind a paywall. Sorry, I know that's ugly, but hey, man, it is the game. I think I'm going for like $3 a month. You got daddy $36 a year? I'll make it worth it. Me and Aiden will make it worth it for you, okay? Well, I think, I'll put stuff up there like whole sets from some of these Theo shows. Those are interesting, see me do 13 minutes in Missoula, Montana, other things, I've got a couple of these episodes that we've put in the can that, I'll probably put behind that and stuff like that. And I don't know. I'm just very excited to still be doing this, and I love you guys, and I will see you next time at the Absolute Lee Show, baby. See you later.